and still in the running for $250,000, David.
Exactly, yeah, and that's got to be in the thoughts somewhere. Anyway, here we go. The lag, of course. Yeah, I think obviously it was a great win over FSR, but impressive that just an hour or so later he came back and followed it up with that win over Billy Thorpe. It didn't sort of all go to his head, just very businesslike.
Yeah, and to your point, Dave, he was trailing 4 games to 0 in that match with Billy Thorpe.
Here we go then. It is Mickey Krause to get us underway.
This is going to tell us a lot here, Dave. Well, and right away, this is something I've noticed all week with him. He's breaking as good as anybody. You'll see here he's got the 1 down, the cue ball, pretty much ideally back and forth above the 9. He's got a great look at the 2. The only concern is that he's pretty straight. I'm not sure if he can catch any type of gap. You'll see the red 3 down here below the 9. That's the next ball he's got to make. But first, he's got to get down this blue 2. He's going to elevate. Well, that's a good sign if you're a Krause fan. And everything here opened right up now. Can roll the 3 in. Wants to carry an angle on this pink. Now he can just come 1 rail up. I don't believe he's straight. I think he can punch over below the 6. It's somewhere just below the left middle, out towards the center. And like so. The only thing I would say, Dave, at times, Mickey, he's young, very young, but he tends to sometimes just get a little quick with the backswing. Yeah, he held it very well. Now he can just come 1 rail, depending on how he's feeling. I think following the ball is probably safer, but it all has to do with how he feels. 1 rail up towards the 8.
Well, he's looking cool so far. Yeah, he's young, only 24. As you say, probably the biggest match he's ever played, but looking good to make the perfect start here. And just say to Dango, what, you thought I was nervous? Well, this is how I'm going to start the match. Well, this tournament getting really serious, and that's a seriously good start to proceedings from Mickey Krause. First rack down already from the break. And that's just a real settler for him. It's a terrific break. And he just went about his business very nicely. Still a race to 11. The winner will play the winner of the match that's currently on the television table, Mohamed Soufi or Johan Chua. And to remind you, on table 2, Eklund Kachi and Mark Beister-Bosch as well for you. And we'll have, of course, more matches to come. We've got David Alcadi and Jeffrey Ignacio after this one on table 1.
This is repetitive. Cue ball's a little high. I don't know if the 7's going to get him or not. Yeah, well, there's our answer, Dave. The 7 completely covered the white. Yeah, I don't think it's time to take the chance on the jump, so he's probably weighing out where he wants to be on a push out. I'll explain that real quick. A push out is where the opponent or the player that's at the table has the opportunity to call a push out. The oncoming player has the option on whether he wants to take the shot from where it lies or give it back. And he's decided to give it back to Mickey Krause. Mickey going to go airborne. The good news, if you're a Krause fan, if he makes this 2, it'll come with position, the red 3, up to the top right. Well, Dave, I thought a lot of good things could actually happen there. He's gotten quite fortunate, but I thought the push out was actually pretty clever. He could have made the 2 off the 9. He could have maybe lucked the 9 in somewhere. So not the worst decision.
Dang here won the Spanish Open last year. 37 years of age, from China.
Liked another rotation out of that ball. I think Mickey might have a shot to the right middle. If he does, this is a huge opportunity. See how he gets a little quick unless he's just measuring this up. And that's his style. But sometimes he's quicker than others, and that's kind of what I mean by that. There's a little inconsistency in his pace at times. There's nothing wrong with that if you make the ball every time you shoot it.
Yeah, I mean, he must have gone to bed last night feeling really good, not just to be in the last 16 of the World Championship, how he got there, who he beat, but that's all gone. He's got to look forward to today and hopefully tomorrow as well.
Yeah, so I believe Dave, he's going to play the short side here for the 6. I don't think you want to risk coming up towards the 9. Just take the 6 up to the top left. You want to carry an angle. Still got work to do. Yeah, very aware of the angle he needed. Yeah, I'm a big believer in less cue ball movement playing 9 ball. The better off you'll be. A lot less risk at hand. Big shot here for Krause. Oh, he is looking up for the challenge. Just wants to avoid the side pocket. Oh, he's done nicely, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, he's not put a foot wrong yet in this match. Looking very focused as well. Superb start for Denmark's Mickey Krause. 2 to the good already in this race to 11 here in the last 16 of the World Championship in Jeddah. I'm sure they've all noted that Efren is here as well and maybe watching them. Just adds to the prestige.
Yeah, he's here. Just got in about 45 minutes or an hour ago. Did a few interviews. He was full of smiles. And that man, not so much, but it's very early. Still, race to 11, long ways to go.
Yeah, we saw some terrific comebacks, recoveries from all sorts of positions yesterday. Various players.
Yeah, Federer was down 9-4, comes back and wins. Federer down 7 games to 0, comes back and wins. Those 2 players clearly feel like they've got a chance. Almost no pressure on them anymore coming from that point. Well, 100% from the break off so far. The 7, here it comes again. Doesn't have him covered, but it does have him hampered with the cue ball. Good news for Krause is the pink is near the 3. Really, all he's got to do is get this ball down. Cue ball most likely going to track over towards the green 6, so you've got to be a little careful. Dave, we're playing all ball fouls. Does not want to touch the 7. Yeah, he's overcut it by a little bit, and he was concerned about the 7. That's always in your mind. Is he going to try and use the 6 here, or is he going to come down and use the other side? Watch out here. There is a pocket.
Oh, disaster.
Yeah, that was a bit haphazard, right? It seemed like he got down on the ball awfully quick. He had a lot of room. I thought he might go the other way, actually, because it looked to be more straightforward using the green 6 to get behind. Yeah, I think he's going to be okay here. Looks like he might end up finishing with an 8-9 combination. If not, he can play short side of the 8 to the lower right. But first, he's got to get the next few down. Perfect line. He doesn't want to get straight here. And not only is he semi-straight, but he's kind of got the bad angle where he's drawing towards the left middle. Let's see what he gets out of this. And that's what you see there, right? So instead of going forward, and I thought he could follow it out 2 rails, come out way more towards the center. Now he's faced with a tester. The problem here is the cue ball could get lost a little bit up table even if he gets it down. Well, big moment for Mickey. Really got to trust the backswing here. Oh, he's held it nicely, David.
Couldn't have played it much better, could he? So the combination for a 3 racks to 0 lead. Oh, what a superb start. He just he missed the 3, didn't he, when he was hampered on the 7, but the scratch from Dang looked like it might be fatal, and that's how it proved. So Mickey Krause, an electrifying start for him. Much like the pyrotechnics we saw as they walked on. He leads by 3 racks to 0. Just going to leave the arena briefly, I think. Or maybe just having a word with the referee. Yeah, he is leaving the arena. Just to say, I mean, it's a terrific eclectic lineup here. 12 nations in the last 16. So it really shows you the global appeal, the global spread of 9-ball pool. And still wide open in terms of who's going to walk away with this trophy tomorrow and the £250,000 first prize. It's 1-1 on the main table. Mohamed Soufi and Johan Chua, and 2 racks to 0 for Eklund Kachi against Beister Bosch on table 2. We're waiting for the players and we will resume. Marcel Eckhart, who's a very experienced Q Sports official in snooker and pool, and one of the local Saudi officials as well. Marcel and Ben and Julian, the three referees here, have been just mentoring the local refs, because of course this is a 10-year deal in Jeddah, so we're going to be coming back here for the next decade. I can see Mickey Krause returning to the arena, but his opponent has also left, so we're still going to have a moment or two before we restart. There's the trophy that will be presented here tomorrow evening. You can see Emily Fraser in the background, the person in charge of this event from Matchroom Multisport, running the World 9-Ball Tour. And I think we are ready to restart. So it's been 3 balls made off the break there. That one again in the middle. And he's looking like he might be able to see the potting angle of the two, but that's 4 racks where that one ball has flown into that middle pocket.
Yeah, Dave, and this is... I've been speaking on this quietly all week, where I think Mickey's been overlooked by a lot of people. I know he's got the ability, right? And that's the key. You've got to have the ability, obviously, or you can't carry yourself forward. But the most important thing is that he's breaking as good as anybody.
Yeah, it puts him on the front foot in every rack. And of course it means Dang is having to rely on a mistake. There was a miss in the last frame. It was a tough one where he was hampered, but ultimately it made no difference. So Mickey Krause with a chance for 4-0.
And I'm trying to look at something that'll slow him down this rack, and I'm not seeing it. Maybe the 8. He does have to carry a line on the 6. It depends on which side he wants to get on here. That's all personal preference. He just doesn't want to get straight. That's the worst place you can be. He's got all the table in the world to work with. You don't want to end up straight here. Now, I believe he's got room to force over. It's just not something you wanted to have to do on these 4-inch pockets. Now you introduce a risk of a miscue. Well, really couldn't have hit this ball any better from where he was, David.
Yeah, I mean, so far his timing has been superb, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm not picking on him. I was just touching on the fact that, you know, that position on the 6 was a bit lazy, and it's typically because he gets just a little quick. When he tightens that up, man.
Well, it's a dream start. I said he would have gone to bed last night feeling good. Maybe this is what he dreamt of anyway. He's 4 to the good already. Thoroughly dominating. His break has been excellent, and Dang has only had a couple of shots. That's it. One of them he scratched on. So for him, it's the opposite. It's a nightmare start. You've got to be patient and focused for when the chance comes, assuming it does.
Yeah, and that's something else we touched on throughout the week. When he beat FSR, I believe he was down 2-0. He handled himself well, right? He's been working on his mental game. He handled himself well. The next thing you know, he goes up 3-2 versus FSR. Then he goes up 6-3. FSR ties it up at 6 games apiece. I kept my eye closely on Mickey. I wanted to see how he handled it. He never wavered. Never showed any negativity. Never showed any emotion at all. Just stayed rock solid. He went ahead to beat FSR. I mean, that's got to do a lot for your confidence.
Yeah, main table beating the defending champ. So Rack 5, 4 up already.
Well, and there you see the 1 again. And the good news for Krause is the 2 is looming always around the cue ball. A lot of times, David, you can break these balls, as you know, and make 2 or 3 balls and come up and out any type of shot. He's getting a good look typically every time. There was one time where he had to roll out, but other than that, it's been a decent look every time. Going into the 6 here, maybe. Oh, he caught a piece of the 3. Well, this will test your blood pressure. Yeah. Not easy, David. Not easy by any means, but this is going to open the door for Dang.
Yeah, this is what he's been sat, as I say, in that seat, hoping for a chance. But now he's got to take it, get involved, get the break back, and start to mete out the same sort of punishment to Mickey Krause, if he can. It's his second time in this stage of the World Championship. The first was 2016.
Very fun player to watch. Real fluid, goes through the cue ball so nicely. Typically doesn't take much time. Will this be a turning point in the match? Will that be something we look back at towards the end? The long 3 ball Mickey Krause had.
Well, Dang needed something to happen, and it did. And then the question was he up to coming in and doing the rest? And that's what's happened. So he's on the scoreboard, and crucially, of course, keeps the break now. Eklan Kachi, by the way, 3-0 up against Beister Bosch on table 2, and Johan Chua 2-1 over Mohamed Soufi on the main table. Of course, there's 5 more matches to come. Al-Qaidi against Ignacio on this table after this match.
Al-Qaidi squeaked by last night. If you didn't see it, you can check it out on Matchroom Pool's YouTube page against his former teammate Jason Shaw. It was a bit of a scratchy match, David. Big win for Al-Qaidi.
Yeah, it looked quite a tense affair, and it was one of those, of course, where as it went on, more and more people sort of gathered around, just adding to the tension on the players.
Yeah, the venue is fabulous here. Something that's interesting, you'll see the seats in the background, obviously, but more people tend to gather around the outsides than they do up in the seats. And last night, there were a lot of people. Well, that's a good sign for Dang. He almost made the 9 in the right middle. He's using a lot more speed off the break. The only problem with using that type of speed off the break is that you're more apt to come away with no shot. Going for the rollout. He's going to go up table here. Notice the 2 does not pass the 3 in the lower right. It's a big opportunity for Mickey. He's got to think it through, and look at what he did, David. He tried to use the 5 to cover the 4 up in the top left. Mickey seems like he knows what he wants to do. Is he going at the bank here? He's aggressive. Yeah, it's just a lot to ask in that situation. Well, he's gotten away with it again.
That last little nudge. And of course that is the unknown, isn't it? The little bit of running here and there that can help at vital moments.
Yeah, I was a little surprised he took that on. Fortune favors the brave. Well, it does for a while anyway. But looky here, what a hit. That's called a kick and stick. He has glued him to the 3. I don't even know that he can swerve to get behind this. Acting like he can. That's not going to have the pace. Are the wheels falling off, Dave?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? One shot when he left himself that difficult long 3, like you said, could be a turning point. They're not always, are they? Sometimes they make no difference, those shots, but from what we've seen, it certainly opened the door, and the early confidence maybe just gone away a little from Mickey Krause.
And clearly the 4 passes. So on the push out, Dang tried to cover that up with the 5. He didn't get there. And that's probably why Mickey took the bank on. He knew if he got the bank down, he's going to get out. But just such a long, tough bank that he's not used to shooting here all week. You don't want to let this guy get loose.
No, of course we saw him victorious at the Spanish Open last year. Come through rather quietly. He's not been sort of on the main table, but doesn't matter as long as you're still here. One thing we know about China, they take their cue sports very, very seriously. A lot of investment has gone into building up the next generation across various disciplines, and here in 9-ball pool, Dang has just stepped up, hasn't he? The chance came in that previous rack, he took it. Mickey Krause handed him ball in hand in this one, and he's taken it again. So 4-2. Not taking very long, are they, as well? That's the other thing. 6 racks down already. Very fluent stuff, really.
Yeah, both quickly paced players, and this is kind of a pattern we've seen here this week, especially yesterday. Players will take a lead, and I don't know whether it's the pressure or they get too comfortable, but something seems to happen in the middle of those matches. Well, I've said it. Federer was trailing 7-0. Filler was trailing 9-4. Chris Melling was trailing all night long. Who was Chris Melling playing last night, Dave?
Elliot Sanderson.
Elliot Sanderson. Elliot would get up 2 games. He'd get up 3 games, get up 2 games, get up 3 games right at the end. You know, you've got to give Chris Melling the credit. Boy, he came on very strong. But something seems to be happening in the middle of these matches. The guys who are taking these leads aren't finishing it off. Watch the cue ball. It's tracked right behind the 1. So another opportunity for Krause. The purple 5, Dave, has ended up in a little bit of a funny situation. He can get there off the 4. Work left to do here. And I mentioned it, and you know, I think if there's any, I do know Mickey's game quite well. If there's any downside to his game, he gets a little quick at times. I think if he was a little more calculated because of the ability that he has, it would just eliminate some of those errors that he makes. Don't worry, he's played great all week. Best pool I've ever seen him play. But here's a problem. He needed an angle, whether it was the low or high angle. Now he's going to have to drop back and play the 5-7 combination. It's not laying bad. Just make sure you get up enough here. Saw Tyler Steyer miss a 9-ball combination that was almost exactly like this early in the week. He took a ton of time on it, talked himself out of it. This should be natural.
Yeah, that scratch from the break gave Krause here the opportunity to seize back the initiative. I think that's the thing, you know, with these comebacks. The point is they're all so good, you know. Can just take one shot sometimes to turn things. They're more than capable of stepping in and taking advantage if something goes wrong.
Yeah, this is his style. He likes to power the ball. He's a straight shooter. It's definitely his strong suit, his ball pocketing. He's come up a little shy here. Yeah. Good news for him. It's the 9. Should be pretty natural if he gets this down. Oh, has he overcut this ball? He's overcut this ball. Huge problem for Mickey Krause. Dang. With a chop opportunity to go up another game, Dave.
Yeah, that really is a big moment, you feel.
Is the pressure getting to him?
Well, Dang will be delighted in the end. He just had to come and pot 2 balls. Yeah, Mickey Krause looking, well, impassive, but you could see behind the eyes the disappointment there because it was in his hands and didn't take it out, overcut the 8. Just as it looked like maybe, you know, obviously wins the rack, gets the break back. We know how good his break's been. He could have ended up there off the back of that. You know, 6 or 7 racks in front maybe, but as it is, there's only 1 in it now.
Yeah, and that's a huge swing, right? Big swing going against Krause there.
I can tell you Eklen Kachi is 5-0 up now against Bosch to Bosch, so fantastic start for him. And he will play the winner of our, well, he hasn't won yet, but whoever wins that will play the winner of our next match, Alcadi or Ignacio. Here we go then. What a interesting match it's been, full of incident.
Well, the 1 hasn't gone yet. Is the 6 going to go in the left middle? Another opportunity for Krause. He's got to forget about the errors he's made. It happens. You're on the biggest stage. It's the biggest moment in your career. Forget about it. Move on. You're playing great pool. No, he's got a big pocket here with the blue 2. He's got to hit this clean. Oh, not even close, Mickey Krause. Something's definitely affected him. He had a chance to go up 5 games to 0, and since then, it's all fallen apart.
Yeah, and it seems to have been a rapid decline. He's sort of gone from a 10 to like a 3, hasn't he, in terms of his sort of overall standard. which is a great concern, because how do you then get back up again if your confidence has taken a big knock and you're dwelling maybe on a couple of errors?
Yeah, David, I agree, and that's something that I thought was great about what he did against FSR. He was up 6-3. FSR gets it back to 6-all, and Mickey really shined. Stayed solid all the way through. It's obviously not too late, but he's got to figure something out, and I think he needs to slow down a tick. Yeah, well, he's got that awkward angle here where if he draws back, he might catch a piece of the side pocket. Purple 5 in between the 7 and 9. He's coming all the way back. What's going to happen? Oh, he's come off the 9. He doesn't have a pocket to the left middle. I think he's looking to keep the cue ball behind the brown. The purple needs a settle. Mickey might. Oh, and he does have at least a piece of this, David. Bringing it all the way down. Can't fault him for it. The only problem with that is there's other balls to hide behind. Almost the same thing again, David. 5 is leaked out. Can Mickey Krause regroup?
Yeah, I mean, it might just come down to just one good pot, you know, getting him back into the flow again. It can work the other way. I think we've seen that already. Is this going to be it?
I like the time he's taking. He's kind of landed in no man's land here. He's looking at the carom. Is there a two-way play where you can get the 7 up table and go into the 9? I think he's actually got to manufacture an angler, put some type of English on the cue ball to make this ball. Well, there you have it. He had to draw off the 7. Not easy by any means. Good news for Krause is that Dang is elevated, David. There's a good look. He is directly over the 9. He's rushing this a little bit. Heart rate's got to be up. Too thick. So the time he took on the purple 5 versus the time he took on that were not the same.
Well, Mickey Krause made all the running early on, but when he's had a Slightly non-regulation shot to go for. He's struggled. We're going to be all square. But Dang looking the cooler, you got to say, right now. It's still relatively early in the match, but 4-4, he's done well to dig in. He's been handed a few openings. And Mickey Krause leaving the arena, and it might not be the worst thing to do, actually. Just showing the security guard his pass. There was a clue, the fact he was on the table, but anyway, they're only doing their job.
Yeah, the security guards are like 10 feet from the table, and they're still wanting to see Mickey's pass, but they're doing their job. Yeah, so David, what do you think? I mean, what do you think is going through Mickey's head? It seems like I think what's going through his head is, I've had so many chances to be way ahead in this match, and that's probably what he needs to get out of his mind, right?
Well, this is the problem, you know, once you've missed a couple, the next one you get that is a little more difficult than regulation. You're thinking, cannot afford to miss this one, and of course that is putting extra pressure on. You're not feeling as composed as you normally would be. So the danger is it just sort of magnifies each chance you get. It becomes harder. But as I say, you know, he's still level. He's not like he's miles behind. He's 4-4. It's almost like leave the arena, come back, we're starting again. And it's almost like a race to 7 as opposed to a race to 11. I guess you could look at it that way. Whatever works for you. But there's been no tells from Dang at all. A couple of errors here and there, but overall he's looked pretty solid, I think.
Yeah, and I think the difference is the break, right? And to your point, if Mickey comes back and it looks like they're all square and they're just playing a race to 7 from here, easier said than done, Mickey's breaking better than Dang. I mean, Mickey's actually getting shots off the break. And that's going to be the difference in this match if he can regroup.
Well, he wasn't out for long, so here we go. We're at 9, 4-4.
Well, as soon as I mention the break, look at this break. One rifles in, the 2 gets kissed in, the 6 follows right behind the 2. He's got a 6-ball clearance. Little tricky. He's flat or straight on the 3. Can't really do too much with the cue ball here unless he wants to come back a couple feet. Problem is he's going to go into the 8 on his next shot, I believe. He might be able to elevate, miss the 8. Yeah, and that's what he's looking at, but does the 9 hamper the 5 to the lower right? Oh, well, he was quick in the backswing, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth reiterating. This is the most lucrative event they'll have played in. So, as we go through each round, the pressure goes up, the money goes up, everything goes up, and including the heart rate at times, I think, in this match, and a couple of mistakes creeping in from both sides. That'll give Krause a little bit of hope now. He's seen Dang maybe just start to feel it as well.
And you're exactly right. It's worth reiterating, right? That the money is huge. Up top, $250,000. Runner-up is $100,000. Quarterfinalists are getting $27,000, and the semifinalists $50,000 each. Well, that's big money. So both of these players feeling the heat early.
Yeah, it feels more like a 9-9, doesn't it, than 4-4 actually. So. Dang delighted to see this 4 over the pocket. Where's the white though? Oh dear.
Yeah, and this is typically not what you'll see from the man at the table, Dang. He's not known to make too many errors. Mickey has to snap out of it, take advantage, because these opportunities are going to come few far in between. here rather soon, I have a feeling. Yeah, pretty well controlled there, Dave. He played the distance. Mickey's got to take his time here and really figure out what he wants to do. Made a couple funny decisions, in my opinion, especially when he took on that long cross-corner bank. Ended up losing that game. Yeah, and this is kind of what I'm getting at. We're playing for $250,000 and he's staying super aggressive. There was a couple of different defensive options there.
Yeah, and I guess at what point do you say to yourself it's not working, this strategy? Or do you not want to kind of show weakness by changing it? Either way, it looks like it's going to cost him in this rack.
Yeah, you almost have to feel for Mickey right now. I mean, he's had chances literally, I think, every single game. He knows that. That's probably part of the problem.
So this for Dang to take the lead for the first time. He's made the odd error himself, but fewer in the last few racks than his opponent. Mickey Krause made a wonderful start. If you've been watching from the start, you'll know that. But the wheels have come off, and the question is, how do they get back on?
Yeah, David, we highlighted that moment. I believe he was up 4-0 when he shot the three.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we highlighted that moment, said this is a tough shot, right? And if he doesn't get it down, how will he rebound? I don't know if that's what's affected him going forward, but the wheels have definitely come off. He's got to regroup. After all of this, like you said, he's only one game down now.
It's just how they've got there. If he'd have been, 3 down himself and it was only 5-4, he'd be delighted. But that's not been the story. Anyway, here we go. Dang in front.
And his break is looking better. He got a poor kiss from the purple 5. And kiss off the 7 as well. Long shot here. Does he play it? I mean, I don't know if the defensive play is even any better. He could just bunt the 2 up behind the 3. They're going to stay aggressive. I can't tell how steep this is, but I don't know that he can take a cut at this. It's not going to happen. Is he going to come up behind the 6-8? And he's found the gap. Has Mickey played defense yet in this match?
Not that I can recall.
Yeah, and I think that's, I do know that he plays defense. He's not all offense. I think the heart rate has a lot to do with the offensive side that we've seen so far. He's got to settle himself. He's got to play the right shots. You can't win tournaments playing low percentage shots. And this is what I was talking about before the match ever started. His pace at times is a lot different. He's taking the time here, really thinking it out. And typically when he does that, he executes. It's when he rushes things. He's not a fast player. He's not a slow player. He's got to find that happy medium. for the make there, and if he didn't make it, he knew the cue ball was tracking towards the back of the 6. Here's a big opportunity, Dave, for him to go back in behind the 6. I thought he could level out with a lot of outside English and get back there. He stroked it, got away with it due to the brown 7.
Oh, hello. Well, a bit of fortune. Okay, it's part of the game, yeah, but what a moment to get it. Held his hand up.
Well, are the pool gods at play here? And I mean, I don't want to punish Mickey, but it could have resulted in how he played that defensive shot. I thought he could just level out with a lot of outside spin and come back softly towards the 6. He didn't get the snooker behind the 6. He got it behind the 7. That allowed Dang to kick behind the ball, fluked it in off the purple 5. Now he's off and running.
Yeah, and I think as well, there's always the feeling in any cue sport that if you're struggling and making mistakes, suddenly the luck doesn't go for you. Whether that's a scientific thing or not, that's what players think.
Man, it seems that way, right? It always seems that way.
But he has contributed as well to what's happening here. And Dang just staying cool with a chance here for 6 racks in a row. Yeah, didn't panic when he was trailing, and now he's looking the favourite for sure. It can change again, but Mickey Krause, after that electrifying start, he's struggling, and a little bit of fortune helped Dang as well there. Take that rack out. Race to 11, so he's over halfway there. Just on the other matches on the main table, Mohamed Soufi, great talent, great entertainer, 4-4 with Jan Chua. And Eklund Kachi 7, Mark Beisterbosch 1 on table 2.
Yeah, and this is just an interesting dynamic when we're talking about Mickey Krause. I think most of the matches that I've watched him play this week, he was initially trailing, David. So now, is there some type of a mental block in there, right, where he started out with a huge lead and then something happened?
Yeah, well, maybe it's all a mental challenge, isn't it, however you look at it, but at the moment, Dang standing up to it.
Yeah, well, he's come up dry this time. Mickey Krause going to have an opportunity at the 1.
Be interesting now, I think, this visit, to see what happens, because it might tell us a lot about his state of mind.
I feel like he is feeling a bunch of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I said it was a dream start. Maybe that was the problem. He's kind of almost going along too well. And
yeah, exactly.
The only way was kind of down in a way.
Absolutely. I fully agree. I think that's a big part of it, as you see here. And look, he's completely lost the cue ball. You've got a feel for him. But it could be a rough go the next half of this match for Mickey Krause.
Yeah, I was saying earlier in the week, in snooker we have a 15-minute interval after a certain amount of frames, so the player who's trailing gets a chance just to spend good time away from the arena, maybe practice, speak to their friend, whatever it is. That doesn't happen in pool. You've got to stick out there, and there's no sort of lifelines being thrown to you.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, right? You're really out there all by yourself, and sometimes you can be at the mercy of your own destiny, and whether good or bad. Right now, you've got to feel a little bit for Mickey. He's had opportunities to win so many games. His timing seems to be a bit off. It only takes one real good shot to get you back in a match, right? But maybe it's going to take a few for Mickey Krause. And he's got Dang cut off from everything except the long rail just below the right middle. I feel like he's got to bend this with a little low English, so he might have to elevate. Yeah, and that's what he did, and he avoided the corner as well. How is this going to finish? Wow. So things really starting to go against Krause. He's opened the door. Dang. Well, he's walking right through it. Oh, is it going to find the gap? It was a rotation from being perfect for Dang. Real good effort there. Tried to two-rail it into his pocket.
Oh.
Dang thought he could make that.
Wow, caught the 8. So, another twist now. Mickey Krause, kind of deep breaths needed here. The thing is, he's not been completely outplayed. Dang's made mistakes as well. That's what he's going to hold on to. It's not like he's been sat in that seat and not had a shot. He's had plenty, actually.
Yeah, very well said. That is what he's got to hold on to. He's playing somebody that's human. Maybe that's what he needed, David. Almost feel like he's come up a bit short here as well. He's going to be okay. Or should be okay. To play the 7-8 combination. You notice he had ball in hand on the blue 2 early. Could have tucked in behind the 8 and 9. Interesting play there, so he, I assume, going to the right middle with this ball. Setting up on the 6 for the 7-8 combination. Is he too low on the 6 here? He's setting up for the bank. Dave, I just don't know. This is pretty haphazard. He's going to go into the 8 with a lot of speed. And just short. I don't understand that game plan. Clearly not all there right now, Mickey Krause.
No, it's like he's sort of playing in a fog, isn't he? You can't quite see things as clearly as if he was sat here maybe watching it.
Yeah, of course, it's always easier for us, right? We never make a mistake back here. And we feel the pain of Mickey. But, like you said, in a fog of some type.
Yeah, I mean, he was so impressive yesterday, wasn't he? On the main table against the defending champ. But just struggling here, and it's hard to see exactly how it's going to turn around for him. Dang presses on to a 7-4 lead. Mickey Krause has no As I say, no lifelines thrown his way. He's got to try and work it out himself. And obviously hope that Dang, maybe as he gets nearer the winning line, starts to make mistakes, starts to feel the pressure. They're all under it here for sure. And I think some of the upsets as well, some of the big names that have gone out, that just adds to the pressure, because you're thinking, hang on, he's not here, maybe it's my turn to come through the pack. Of course, we've got plenty of big names, Shane Van Boning up later. But yeah, it's turned around so dramatically from the start, where he did pretty much nothing wrong, to now where he's struggling, to be honest, to do much right. And it's just a question of whether it can turn back the other way.
Yeah, well said, Dave.
So Dang, 3 in front.
Yeah, short with the 1 again. Doesn't look like anything's tracking. You know, we did an interview on Mickey yesterday, and something I said right to his face is, I feel like you've really been working on your mental game. Well, he's not showing any emotion or any negativity, but I think internally that mental game is struggling right now. Because this was, you know, his big downfall. He's still young, 24 years old. Big shot here. Can't fault him for jumping. Wow, what a hit. If anything else, you can take a little bit from that shot.
Yeah, he's certainly keeping his head up. He's staying aggressive.
Not bad, not bad. I like how he leaves it out in the middle, meaning the 2. Anytime you leave an object ball out there like that, Dave, as you know, much tougher to play a certain shot from it. Felt like he had some opportunities earlier to do the same thing. It paid off.
Yeah. Yeah. So he set the trap now. This is a big visit, I think, in this match. This is a chance to just get that equilibrium back. It's in his hands.
Once again, I feel like he got down pretty quick. I think his nerves are just really high. He's hiding them well, but I think they're way up there, the heart rate. Well, it's very high. Sometimes you think when you're making mistakes, maybe I just need to play a little quicker, right? And I think that that's what's caused him some of the big mistakes, because when he's flowing correctly, taking a little bit of time, those mistakes are much less. Here's an example. He did not mean to go this far.
Yeah, the problem with nerves, that it's not like a tap you can turn on and off, is it? You know, they're either there or they're not, and at the moment they are there. There's a lot of adrenaline out there.
Starting to get worse. I'm not saying think about his safety, but he's not considering anything else. And he's going to be snookered on the brown.
Yeah, again, it just unravelled, didn't it? A chance that he'd earned with a good defensive shot.
Yeah, and I hope Mickey learns something from this, and I know he will going forward if he doesn't get the win. I think his decisions due to the pressure, and you've got to admit there's pressure out here. I don't care who you are. I think the decisions kind of failed him. At least so far. I'd like to get this in rail first. Yeah, real quick. Again, in the back delivery. Some pretty straightforward gifts for Dang the last few games.
Yeah, and Mickey there just sort of giving himself a little talking to. could have been a long way in front himself in this match. In fact, he's had enough chances really to almost be there over the line, but now it's a real battle. It's a battle within himself as much as it is against his opponent, and he's losing both at the moment, I'm afraid. So Dang has stepped in and cleaned up, and it's 8-4, and credit to him, he stayed cool and taken what has been there when it's come along. 8-4, 3 away from the quarterfinals of the World Championship. Eklund Kachi also 3 away, 8-2 in his match against Bosch, and Mohamed Soufi 6-4 against Johan Chua on the main table, and the winner of that match plays the winner of this match that we're watching here on table 1.
You've got to wonder how much Mickey slept last night. Well, you got to wonder the same with Dang or any of these guys. Are there dreams of $250,000 and a berth into many other events? And the one goes down, Dave.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that actually, about, you know, how did he sleep? Of course, what's different to, you know, 20 years ago there was no WhatsApp. No one could sort of, all your friends and family couldn't get hold of you and congratulations, what time you on tomorrow, almost sort of, and it's great, obviously all that, all the support, but it's almost adding to the expectation on you. You know that it means so much to all these other people as well.
No, and that's a real factor that you point out, I think. You really can't escape from thinking about it, right? And I think that that's vital. We talked about that early in the week when the guys went to that football game. You know, as an athlete, the last thing I want to do is think or breathe pool if I'm in the chance of a $250,000 tournament, or in the semifinals, quarterfinals, last 16. The last thing I want to do once I get to my room is think about that. Well, nowadays you can't get away from it. I think that's a great point. Does that add to the suspense, the expectations, the pressure?
Yeah, because even if he's chilling out in the hotel, not thinking about it, suddenly there are all the messages coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's probably enjoying that, right? You're probably relishing that, but at the same time, you're not getting a break from it.
Well, Dang may have to turn his phone on later because he could be setting up a big match to come tonight. He's looking the heavy favourite now, you've got to say.
Yeah, and he is. He's looking solid. I feel like he's looked real solid all the way through. I really like watching him play. His transition through the object ball is so clean. Pretty much the same thing every single time. And no real work here to do. 2 rails out. You could say Mickey Krause has loosened him up a little bit.
So in goes the 9 for 9-4. Yeah, his positional play's been good, hasn't it? He's kept things as straightforward as possible and piles on the misery here, albeit Mickey Krause didn't get any shots in that rack. So 9-4, 2 needed. Place in the quarterfinals of the World Championship. It's been such a busy week, of course. We had 128 players starting out. Lots of tables, lots of action. We're now down to 16 players, 3 tables. It's a much sort of emptier venue in general backstage. So the guys that are left all feel that it could be maybe their time. But for Mickey Krause, things are going to have to change very soon if he is going to be in contention for this title. And of course, he can't affect things from where he's sat.
Yeah, and a little erratic there. Caught him real thin, as you notice the cue ball. Yeah, caught him real thin. Cue ball coming down quickly. And it's hard to even imagine. Krause was up 4-0. Now he's 0 for 9. With an opportunity at least 8 of those games. Maybe I should say at least 7 of those games. You've got a feel for him. Let's hope he gets a rack down. Starts catching a gear. Watch the right middle. And you want to go up into the 9 here. Didn't get down quite as far as he should have, or as far as he wanted to. I think he wants to catch a piece of the 9. 6 would even be okay, I think. That's okay. Yeah, evaluating where he needs to be. I think that that's a must for Mickey Krause. Wants to shoot the gap between the 6 and 9. Yeah, handled well, very well. And this is going to be great too. So maybe he just needs to get down by some margin to really snap out of it. One rail over, 6 in the same pocket.
Yeah, what's been encouraging here is he's been in tighter control of the cue ball than in some of the earlier chances he got.
Nothing wrong with going all the way up here if it's that steep. I don't know about staying on this side. I think you're better off above the 7 than below it, due to where the 8 is. He's going to stay below it. Oof. Now he's looking to go above it. I think it's a safer play. You do not want to run into the 8 if you don't have to. Yeah, this is a much better play. Well, David, it's been 10 games now. But he's going to win one.
Yeah, and we know from this tournament that it's not done yet, this match. It was almost like things were going too well earlier, then they couldn't have been going any worse. And Mickey Krause, every credit, terrific visit that, and he's still in this match. And of course he gets the break back. He was breaking great earlier on, so you just never know. Maybe he's had his bad patch in this match.
Yeah, I agree. I think he has had his bad patch. I think he's gotten through all of those jitters or whatever was going on in his mind. The question remains, is it too little, too late? He has to stay in control.
Yeah, and Dang as well knows that he's not just going to be given this match, still a match to be won. So the break for Krause.
Yeah, and that hasn't left him. And notice the 2 again. He's close to it. I don't know if he's come up with a straightforward shot yet. The 6 might be causing him some problems. But he's close enough to where he doesn't have to do anything besides find something good defensively. It must pass. Does it pass, Dave?
We're not right behind it, but it seems it does.
If it passes, when you draw back here. Oh, he's got an angle to punch. Very nice. You can almost feel the energy that he's a different player all of a sudden. And let's just drop over one rail to the second row below the left middle. Stay through this. He did. Very well done. Easy to let up on that shot. Looks like he's going forward between the 9 and 6. Carry the angle on the green. And this will be fine. He can come backwards. Oh, he had an angle to punch forward even better. And that's a good sign for Mickey Krause. Deceleration there, David. He wanted to come up. I thought he might go forward there. Oh, now he's elevating.
Well, it seems the fog has cleared. I mean, that was definitely a pressure ball, but he's knocked it in, so he's worked his way out of the maelstrom here. And Mickey Krause is right back in this. Things have turned. He's still trailing, but the way it was going, it didn't look, frankly, like he would win another rack. But he's won the last two, 9-6. And this time it's Dang who leaves the arena. Maybe just to get his thoughts together. Mickey Krause is back in business. As I say, Dang has left the arena, so we will pick up when he returns. Ekland Kashi 9-2 over Mark Beisterbosch. And 6 each, Mohamed Soufi and Johan Chua. Of course, there's still 5 matches to be played in this round. We've got 2 more on this table, 2 more on table 2, 1 more on the main television table. Well, he's been made to wait, but he'll be more than happy with the last 2 racks, particularly that last one where he took it out off the break. Just passing a little personal test, I think. So here we go. Mickey Krause has won the last 2. Again, that one into the middle has been so reliable breaking. The 2's in as well. It's a question of how much he can see of this 3.
This is the first time he really hasn't had a good look at something, whether it was makeable or not. He's got to calculate what's right here. You don't want to make it too easy for Dang, but you don't want to make it too difficult on yourself. And this is going to be tricky if he leaves it down here. Well, there. Dang will probably take this. If it was down closer to the rail, Dave, I think that Dang would consider passing it up. But here, he's got a lot of room to work with. He's going to take the bank on. Yeah. Yeah, if he's going to play that push out, I think you've got to get him down here further to the 6. Left him too much room to cue the cue ball. And that's a little shorter where he wanted to be. Might have to zigzag above the 7 and 9. Come below the 9, 2 rails. Can't tell how steep he is here, though. That's what he's done. You got to give credit to Dang. He made a great bank.
Yeah, it was a good break from Krause, but obviously couldn't see the red 3 depart, and then that seemingly innocuous looking push out set up this chance ultimately. Is he going to be our first man into the quarterfinals or beyond the hill if he pots this? Dang 10-6, and he has the break with a chance in the next rack to put himself in the last 8 of this terrific event here in Jeddah.
Yeah, I just can't stop thinking about the rollout right there. At this level, you just don't want to leave an open cue ball like that where you can get to it however you'd like. Yeah, I thought Mickey'd try and get it down a little closer towards the 6. Dang, coming with a nice bank on the 3. In a lot of ways, it was kind of free because he knew he was going to leave distance. The cue ball was going to stay up there on that top rail. So it takes the pressure off of you when executing.
Here we go then. Is this going to be the winning rack? It's in the hands of Dang Jin Hu.
You know, he's got an opener. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get this down. Good news for Dang is that the 3 is down here on the lower right end of the table. The 5 does play in the top left, I believe. Do you want to roll this and take your chances at holding for the 3, or just come all the way down? How are you feeling? Well, that tells us he wasn't comfortable with rolling it, Dave. You almost feel a transfer of energy again. Mickey, at this moment, a lot of times when you're trailing your opponents on the hill, you can kind of play like you've got nothing to lose, but with everything that's at stake, everything that's on the line, it's not quite the case anymore.
5.
So he's looking to come to the left of the pink instead of just roll this ball. Guess he's too steep. And well handled. Very well handled. Now this is where the work comes in. If he's pointing to the center of the table, that means that he's got a lot of freedom to make the 5. You can utilize the 8 to direct the cue ball towards the 6. This is another one. You have to stay through. Don't let up. Well, he did let up a little bit. Notice the cue ball didn't track anywhere towards the 8, or excuse me, towards the 6. So this could be the end of Mickey Krause's World Championship run, David.
I think he feels it is. He sits down very disappointed. 5 balls for Dang to put himself into the quarterfinals, in fact to become our first quarterfinalist.
And in a sense, it's almost been just a matter of Dang picking up the pieces.
I think that's the thing. If Krause had played bad from the first rack to the last, that's one thing, but he was looking really good earlier on. He's now sat, not even looking, head bowed.
Well, here's the thing. If you're in Mickey Krause's camp, he cannot be disappointed with his event. He's played great. He's got to keep his head up. This is a very positive result for him in the future. Well, you can't expect him to have played this on the short side, but maybe he did. Mickey Krause, great tournament. And it might not be over yet.
He's making it interesting.
Wow. You never know what could happen in 9-ball pool. This is the beauty of the WNT.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think this could have finished much more difficult. Cueing out of the pocket. You've got to contend with the rubber that's in the backing of the pocket there. You've got to be as level as you can possibly be. Is it possible, Dave? And that's going to sting. Mickey Krause, keep your head up. You've had a great event. Dang. It's time to celebrate.
So the cue came down rather quick from Krause, didn't it? Yeah, he started so well, then he started to struggle, and Dang, you can understand, he's delighted. He's the first man into the quarterfinals of the World Pool Championship. 4 racks down, didn't panic, and took advantage of some errors from his opponent. So Dang Jin Hu has won 11-6, and he will play the winner of the match on table 1, which is currently 7-6 to Chua over Sufi. We will take a break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with David Alcady and Jeffrey Ignacio.